Back in 2020, at what Tesla called Battery Day, the company stood on stage and laid out an extraordinary, ambitious plan. Bigger battery cells, fewer parts, lower costs, faster production, a battery that wouldn't just power cars, but also just reshape how they were made. That battery was called the 4680 cell. Quite a lot of people have talked about it, and for a very long time it existed more as an idea than a reality or a bit of theory. Now, quietly, without a big launch event or marketing campaign, Tesla has started doing the thing that it actually said that it would do years ago: build cars with its own in-house 4680 battery cells inside it. And that moment matters a lot because it's revolutionary, but it didn't happen overnight. But because it marks the end of a very long, very difficult chapter for Tesla, we should probably talk about it and assess if this is actually competitive with CATL and their batteries as well, and also the cells, not just the batteries, but the cells. They are the world's largest battery maker, basically the best in the business. To understand why this is important, you have to go back to the very beginning when Tesla first revealed the 4680 battery cells. The promise was pretty big, pretty staggering: a cylindrical battery cell, far larger than anything they'd used before. I think the intended, the big benefit was meant to be efficiency, really designed to reduce internal resistance, simplify manufacturing, integrate directly into the vehicle structure. So the goal was fewer components, fewer steps, much smoother and quicker processing in the factories, and lower cost per kilowatt hour, which is of course for the accountants in the business, they would be really they would be bothered about that. Tesla claimed cost reductions of up to 50% at the pack level, which is just mind-bending. That's amazing. But there are, this is not a very finessed industry at the minute. Even in 2026, there's still a long way to go. I think in the next 20, 30 years, we'll see some incredible things happen. Alongside improvements in range and structural rigidity, there were some other improvements as well. But those promises came with a bit of a catch. Making batteries at scale, brutally hard, very expensive, very inefficient as a process goes. Making them differently is harder still. Tesla wasn't just changing the size of the battery cells, it was attempting to reinvent the manufacturing process itself, particularly through something called dry electrode coating, a technique that promised faster production and lower energy use, but had never been proven at automotive scale. For quite a few years, that process refused to behave as we needed it to. Yields were lower, equipment was unstable, cells that worked in the lab actually failed on the factory floor, and they didn't make it to cars for testing either. And while Tesla continued to talk about the 4680 battery cell, the cars kept shipping with batteries supplied by partners like Panasonic, LG Energy Solution, and also CATL, of course, the bee's knees in the business, the best ones in the business. To many observers, the 4680 began to look like a strategic misstep or a bit of an overreach. But here is the thing: history teaches us again and again and again and again. Industrial breakthroughs rarely arrive on schedule. We need not forget that sort of stuff. The steam engine didn't replace horses overnight. The internal combustion engine took decades to mature. Even lithium-ion batteries themselves were refined very, very slowly, painfully, over years of iteration. And Tesla, for better or for worse, has always played a very long game. By 2024, signs began to emerge that something had shifted. Tesla quietly improved yield rates at its Texas pilot lines. The dry electrode process was simplified, and also some performance targets were actually revised. So less miracle breakthrough, more workable engineering sort of stuff. So then came the first real confirmation: vehicles rolling off the line with Tesla's in-house built 4680 battery cells inside them. Not at massive scale, but some. And of course not across the whole lineup either, but enough to say this is no longer theoretical, because you can go buy a car with them. So what has actually changed? The 4680 cells now being used are not the perfect ultimate version that they had imagined in 2020. They don't yet deliver the dramatic cost savings once promised. Energy density improvements are incremental but not transformative, but they are being produced in-house, and you can go buy a car with them in. So they are being integrated into vehicles. This is not, it's not a wild imagining anymore. Crucially, Tesla now controls the process That matters more than raw specifications, because when a manufacturer builds its own batteries, it gains quite a lot of leverage over cost, over supply chains, over future design decisions, and it can iterate faster. It can tailor chemistry to different vehicles. It can make trade-offs others cannot. And this is where the story becomes less about chemistry and actually just more about strategy and, I suppose, business wit. So Tesla is not alone in vertical integration. Companies like BYD and also Geely, to a lesser extent than BYD, have been doing this very successfully for a number of years now, producing their own battery cells and packs and vehicles under one roof. In that sense, Tesla is not leaping ahead, it's kind of catching up, but catching up is probably necessary at this point, I would imagine, because the global EV market in 2026, far less forgiving than it was in 2020. Margins are thinner, there's way more competition, way more compelling vehicles than just Teslas alone. Competition is fierce, really. Chinese manufacturers have driven costs down relentlessly. We've seen this. It's actually been almost laughable. It's wild. Battery prices fallen like crazy, really. Like it's in the movement in the battery market, tens of percent up and down in just the last couple of years. But so have vehicle prices. In that environment, controlling your own battery supply, I don't think is really optional, really, if you're trying to be a part of the future and secure that part of the future. It's basically survival, and it's an imperative thing to do. That is why the arrival of in-house batteries from Tesla 4680 cells, even in limited numbers at this point, that is significant. And it tells us that Tesla has crossed a threshold. There's more of a chance, actually, that they're going to be here in the next few years and people will care about them than if they have not come out with a 4680 cells, for example. From ambition to execution, not perfectly or not completely either, but enough to move forward and just keep with the times. So there are still challenges ahead, obviously. Scaling production remains incredibly different, very expensive. Repairability of structural battery packs raises questions for insurers, of course, as insurance costs are going up, and Tesla's cost advantage is no longer unsaleable. Just pause there for a minute. Well, I did actually do a bit of research on insurance prices 2 days ago, and 2023, the insurance in, say, for example, the UK, I'm not sure about all the different markets around the world, I'm not an insurance expert, it was up to its peak at the end of 2023, but apparently last year it was actually down, I think, 32% from its 2023 peak. Can you let me know if you think that's true? Is that accurate? If you're in the UK, just roughly put down maybe what you paid then, what you paid now, or what's kind of happened with your insurance journey for your electric car, or I guess any car, even if it's not electric. We won't judge you because we don't judge in the comments. But oh no, wait, people do judge in the a lot actually. But anyway, people in my comments in the videos, 99% of you are really chipper, so that's really nice. For some reason, people whinge about it a lot, but I get nice comments. History tends to remember, I think, the moment when a technology stops being a promise and starts being a bit of a practice. This is one of those moments, I think. The 4680 battery may never be the revolutionary leap that it was wanted or billed as, but it doesn't need to be. It just needs to keep up with the times, and maybe incremental stuff is sufficient. It simply needs to work reliably at scale under real-world conditions. Maybe they can improve winter performance, and now finally, it actually kind of does to some degree. So the lesson here is not about hype or disappointment, it's about how hard industrial challenge and the various changes really is, and how long it takes to bend reality to match ambition. It's a very big deal. If we're honest, Musk is probably one of the guys to do that, obviously, because he's got a bit of a knack for it. And yeah, Tesla has been trying to do this for the last 5 or 6 years with these 4680 battery cells. And whether you admire the company or doubt it, or you just hate Tesla, hate Musk, or love him, the fact remains really that the experiment has entered its next phase. And Tesla do make good cars, actually. I got another comment the other day, someone saying that I'm someone whose true colours are coming out in regards to my opinion on Tesla. Genuinely on the fence, I just don't mind. I think they're bloody brilliant to drive, great to look at, and they've just, much like Toyota, Teslas have just got better and better and better. They're at a point now where it's such a finesse product that they're incredible, really. I mean, I knew this a few years ago when I first went in the Highland Model 3. and this is marvelous. It is way better than I think people realize. So incredibly good quality vehicles. Thank you for watching. Please put your comments below in the comments section. You're very welcome to join me as a member as well on the channel. We've got Patreon, YouTube members, and you can buy me a coffee if you want, and I legitimately will go buy coffee with it. I have kilos of coffee in the kitchen. Genuinely, I really do. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate your time. Hope it was interesting for you. You can subscribe. I have videos every day coming out, so thank you for your time.